Hi guys, hope you're fitting well. It's Ray here from Just for Keepers. In this quick video, we're going to be talking about the difference between goalkeeper development versus goalkeeper training. Now, this is one of the most common asked questions I get asked by mums and dads and goalkeepers all over the world where we run Just for Keepers. And the question is, hey Ray, is there a difference between goalkeeper development versus goalkeeper training? And the answer to that is yes, the difference is between night and day. And that leads on to the next question. Well, hey Ray, how do I tell a difference between a training session and a development session? Now, if you're a young goalkeeper or a parent of a goalkeeper, the chances are it's going to be very, very difficult for you to know the difference. I'm going to try my best to explain it in this video, but I'm going to keep it very, very, very brief. So for you goalkeeping coaches that know what I'm talking about, I will be deliberately leaving all the technical information out, okay, because I don't want to be obviously blinding everyone with science here. Hey, listen, even if you're an outfielder coach and you've been coaching for 5, 10, 20, 30 years, and you look at your goalkeeping coach, you won't know the difference between a training session and a development session. And I don't mean that to sound rude. Again, it reminds me of an interview that I seen about 2-3 years ago now, maybe a bit longer. And the coach was a guy called Arsene Wenger, who was the manager and the coach of Arsenal in the English Premiership. So I think Arsene Wenger, I think he managed Arsenal for about 200 years, but it was like a long time. I think he was like he was the longest serving manager in Premiership history. So this guy knows what he's talking about. And he was getting interviewed, and he started asking them about the goalkeeping coach, and then he actually stopped the interview and said, look, if you want to know about the goalkeepers, you need to speak to the goalkeeping coach, because I've no idea about the goalkeeping. You need to go and speak to the experts. So this is one of the top coaches in the English Premiership said that. So if you're a goalkeeper or a parent of a goalkeeper, don't beat yourself up, okay? Yeah, because if this guy who's like obviously was in the managed at one of the top European Premiership teams for 15 years, I think it was. If he doesn't know, obviously the chances are you guys are not going to know. Okay, so again, it leads me on to obviously how can you tell the difference between a goalkeeping development session versus goalkeeping training? Well, first of all, I'll talk about the goalkeeping training session first. They're the most fun, by the way. Most goalkeeping coaches will actually do a training session, because I can understand why they do that, because it is fun, and that's where you let the session flow. And that's if you ever watch a professional coach professional goalkeepers, that's more or less a training session for the most part, because the coach knows his students or her students, they know what they're doing. So they'll put a session on, they'll just do the session, and then they let the session flow, and they just allow their goalkeeping students to hone their skills, and they won't go in and stop the session, or they'll very, very rarely stop the session. So a training session is when you let the session flow, okay, just to keep it in layman's terms, okay. A goalkeeping development session, okay, is when a goalkeeping coach will stop the session if they see their students doing something wrong. They'll go in and then they'll put it right, and then they'll come back out again, okay, and then they'll let the session flow, and no matter how many times they need to step in, they'll keep stepping in and out, in and out. And the key is to find a goalkeeping coach, to make sure that the goalkeeping coach is doing a combination of both, because if they're doing a training session all the time, the goalkeepers are not going to develop. And if the goalkeeper, if you're not going to develop as a goalkeeper, yeah, it's great doing training sessions and having all the fun in the world, but if you're not developing your techniques, there'll come a time when it'll catch up on you, okay, yeah. So, for example, if you're just doing training session, year in, year out, and you've got competition doing training sessions and development sessions, when it matters, when it's like 17, 18, 19 years of age, and you're both trying to become professional or gain a college scholarship, I'm telling you now, for the most part, the goalkeeper that gets trained and developed will have a greater chance for the goalkeeper that's just being trained and their technique is not being honed, if that makes sense, okay? So you've got to make sure that you have a combination of both a training session and a development session. And again, I can understand why goalkeeping coaches do more training sessions than development sessions. I tend to do it as well sometimes, but what happens is because it's more fun, the students, they like to dive about, they don't like to be stopped and be coached, but that's where the goalkeeping coach has got to be strong and say, hey, listen, you're coming to me, you're getting developed. And as a goalkeeping coach, it's just trying to find the fine balance of the two, if that makes sense, okay? So hopefully, again, as I say, hopefully that makes sense what I'm saying, guys. Okay, yeah, a training session is when the session you allow the session to flow, and a goalkeeping development session is when a goalkeeping coach will come in and stop the session and obviously make sure the students, they don't move on with that session until the student knows what to do with that technique. Okay, and again, it's a combination of both. Okay, as I say, because again, I get asked, well, Ray, what's best, a training session or a development session? And again, it depends what stage a goalkeeper's at. Obviously, if you're a semi-professional or a professional, you're playing at a good standard, you've got to be doing the training sessions. If you're obviously young and you're only developing your goalkeeping skills, you've got to be doing, goalkeeping development and goalkeeping training sessions, if that makes sense. So I hope that helps. Okay, also as well, I'm going to do another quick video on this as well, because I'm getting asked more and more as well. The amount of mums and dads are saying, hey Ray, I'm taking my son or daughter to a goalkeeping coach and they've got all this apparatus that looks fantastic. That can be actually very, very dangerous. Okay, so I'll do another video on that as well. I'm not saying there's a time and place to use that equipment, but a goalkeeping coach that uses that equipment too much is for the most part is unintentionally doing more harm than good. Okay, so I'll do another video on that. But if you've got any questions on this, if you're a goalkeeping coach, or you're a goalkeeper and you think you've missed anything out, again, please leave your comments below. But again, I wanted to keep this video quite basic, okay, for goalkeepers, young goalkeepers and mums and dads. Hopefully that will tell you the difference between goalkeeper training and goalkeeping development. You've just got to make sure your goalkeeping coach is just doing a combination of both. And if your goalkeeping coach is doing that, you'll be okay. Okay, so I hope that tip helps. Have a good day or good night wherever you are. All the best.